Hello and welcome to the Helios blog. My name is Helios, here for another reaction video. Today, Mikhaila Peterson speaks out against woke indoctrination. Let's get into it.
The reason she's alone is because she's difficult.
Women are not accepting the bare minimum.
Women fuck men they respect.
All the women who say things like, I'm strong, independent, I don't need no man, like, y'all impress me.
Women just gaslight each other and say what they want to hear.
You have different rights if you're a public figure.
Yes. Yeah, and that's
it's crazy.
I will say this: Cardi B just recently won a lawsuit with someone against Tasha K for that. She kept saying that she was, she had herpes or whatever.
3 years.
Yeah,
it wasn't easy.
Yeah.
3 years.
Oh, that's so not fun.
Yeah. But Cardi B went after her though, and she won she won.
Oh well, good for her.
I think that for what, 3 or 4 million. It took a couple years because Tasha K just kept bashing her for years and years. Yeah. And she's a popular YouTuber, and she was just spreading rumors.
Oh,
about
really?
her. Yeah.
On YouTube, and she still got her.
Tasha, yeah.
Oh, wow. That's
yeah.
Okay.
She got her. So I mean, but it's ridiculous because it's like you're gonna say things that are clearly not true. And here's the other thing too: is like they're gonna try to say, "Oh, you're schizophrenic, whatever," and like we know what you're trying to do. You're trying to discredit the man and say that, oh, well. All the points that he makes are now not credible. They're invalid. He's not mentally sane. You know what I'm saying? And that's what they always do when they. French Montana said it. When they get mad and they can't bring you down with hate, they start spreading lies. Yep. You know what I'm saying? So
that's it. That's exactly right.
So they put out this hit piece, and then what'd you guys do after that?
Well, okay, so that happened, and then Marvel wrote Dad in as the Nazi supervillain Red Skull. Did you hear about this?
No.
Oh,
no.
wow.
Marvel
put out full on a Captain America comic book where they have the Red Skull and he's reading 3 rules for life, 10 rules for life, a little book there. And then it talks about the Red Skull's followers being misogynists and women haters. It was like based on my dad, for sure. You don't have 10 rules for life by the Red Skull.
What? Okay, that is character assassination. Wow. In popular media, that's kind of incredible, actually.
Whoa.
And it was like he talks about order and chaos.
That's crazy.
In Marvel. And it was like, so then that happened like 2 months later, a month after the Times thing.
Let's see.
But we ended up making merch instead.
I feel like merch. While they hate, we create, baby. You know what I'm saying? Because we make merch off haters stuff too.
Okay, yeah. So that's what we do.
Yeah, you got to do it, man. Because and here's the other thing too. I don't want to go on a rant on this, but I'm just gonna keep it nice and concise. Marvel, which is owned by Disney now, if I'm not mistaken, correct? I think.
I have no idea.
Is it DC?
I think it's DC.
Oh yeah, Marvel. They are okay. So thank you, Mo, for fact checking that. So
he would know.
All right. So here, contributors to The Atlantic like Ta-Nehisi Coates are moving on to comics. Jordan B. Peterson, let me know if any of this looks familiar. So this is a tweet, okay? I'm just reading the tweet. And it says, the Red Skulls, this is in a comic. 10 Rules for Life, Chaos and Order, Carl Luger's Genius, The Womanist Trap. So they literally are staging Jordan Peterson as the Red Skull. That's absurd. Captain America supervillain, the Red Skull, has been behaving a lot like Jordan Peterson lately, thanks to Ta-Nehisi Coates. Okay, let's see the comic. Okay, here's the Red Skull. Okay, I'm quoting the Red Skull from the comic. All right, so trying to make Jordan Peterson out to be a supervillain. What's happened to the men of the world is truly one of the great tragedies of our time. Once the American man was a conqueror. Now he is but a caretaker. And a caretaker of what? He stands for some amorphous dream, a dream of nothing. But what I offer you is more than just some petty dream, more than a life of tending the hearth. No more shall women be summoned to fight your battles. I offer steel for your spine and iron for your gut. You tell me what you think of that in the comments. You tell me. All right, shitting time. Hit the like, hit the sub, hit all for notifications. Shoutouts to Hunter M, Adrian Tomem, and Bobby. Shoutouts to you, most recent Patreon subscriber. Buy my books at bit.ly/heliosbooks. Especially shoutouts to Curry Kid, most recent purchaser of Strategist Guide to Seduction. Thank you. Also, go to my Patreon and subscribe, patreon.com/theheliosblog. Share this video. And if you want to support me on the podcast, just click the description link and scroll down to support the show. You'll see a Buzzsprout link there. All right. Shitting is done. Let's continue.
Here's the thing. These popular companies that had, historic villains and superheroes, etc., they continue to push this woke narrative.
Yep.
And this is why these old heroes that you used to watch back in the day, back in the 80s, 90s, whatever, and you're like, wow, this is like this is masculinity. These superheroes. Now they're switching them to women. The new James Bond is a woman.
What? No. Okay, I gotta see this. It's not Daniel Craig. Daniel Craig was the most recent one. No way. What? The next 007 will be played by a woman. Okay. Guys, if you're wondering why my reaction is this, just watch some of the old James Bond movies and you'll understand what I'm talking about.
Trying to get woke. Yeah. And it's ridiculous.
The new James Bond is a woman?
It's an African-American woman, which is...
nobody's going to watch that.
And they're making the men very feminine.
Yeah, they're making the men feminine. We have this whole agenda to push this social narrative of acceptance, being woke, being politically correct, being progressive, right? And what we're doing is we're diluting the quality of the content, and this is why box office is bombing with a lot of these movies.
Yeah. Yep. The new James Bond is, well, I'm not watching it now. Again, that was the last bastion of masculinity in terms of movies, right? Wow. I'm speechless.
You know what I'm saying? Marvel has been taking L's for several years now at this point. I mean, the Captain Marvel movie, if I'm not mistaken, was a big fail. Or which one is the one that had Mo? You're the pop culture guy here. It was Captain that bombed, right? The Marvel movie that bombed.
Scarlett Johansson had one too. Black Widow.
That one bombed. I mean, the point is that they're taking these traditionally masculine characters that were created back in the 50s and 60s, etc. They're trying to make them woke. They're changing the situation. They're making the superheroes that were men, women now. They're trying to appease this narrative, and it's ridiculous. And they're losing money for it because people always vote with their wallets. And
it's like the Gillette commercial.
Glad that Hollywood is taking a hit with all this stuff. Go woke. You deserve to go broke, baby. You know what I'm saying? It's bullshit.
There it is.
Eternals. Okay. Yep.
Oh, that was awful. I didn't finish that. I was like, oh, this has so many. Oh, that was awful. Yeah. That was awful.
I didn't watch it.
There is so much virtue signaling nowadays in movies that it's ridiculous. And it's no wonder that the box office consistently is crashing and failing and everything else like that, because they continuously feminize. I hate to say it like that, but they feminize and emasculate traditionally masculine characters. What the hell?
That's exactly it. If you emasculate men through your movie, it's not going to go well for you.
What do you think's going to happen? You know what I'm saying? Like if I grew up on Spider-Man in the 80s and 90s and I'm watching Spider-Man and he's doing some weird shit and it's not the Peter Parker that I know, I'm like, fuck this. I'm going to go watch the original stuff that I grew up on. And that's what people are doing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
You don't like the boy Spider-Man?
Nah, not as much.
What?
I mean, it wasn't bad, but it's not what you're used to.
It's not what it used to be.
Same with, Star Wars. Oh, man. Can you imagine if they recreate something like Lord of the Rings, but they make it woke? What a disaster. I'll bet Tolkien would be rolling in his grave. My.
The new generation, that's all they see. So here's the problem, right?
That's right.
We are
That's
used
the
to
problem.
the masculine, more traditional superheroes, but the kids of this generation, this is all they know. So then they're taking it, okay, this is the gospel, this is what it really is.
Yeah.
And they kind of reenact that in real life.
And I will say the Spider-Man
That's right. So they reenact, men being weak, women ruling, women being the ones that are like strong and independent, telling men what to do, and men being kind of subservient losers. And the issue is this: if men copy this, then what happens? Well, then you get 80-20, but on steroids, right? It'll be like 99-1. Most men will be brainwashed idiots, and 1% who are so highly disagreeable that no, they're going to do what they want because genetically, that's just how they are. Those will be the only men that are actually masculine. Can you imagine what a disaster that would create? How little productivity we would have in our society. My.
Man is not as bad.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
Spider-Man is the best of the worst.
There are some dislikable side characters in Spider-Man.
Yeah.
They kind of put the woke agenda in through them.
100%.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah, and it's also, there's so many things that go on, like, they typically make the guy, like the villain is like a traditionally masculine man who's white, right? They do that all the time, and then they make the hero, someone that is more, how do I say this, more left-leaning to some degree, some virtue signaling person that
Woke acceptable.
matches a certain criteria to make them look good,
Relatable.
and yeah, more relatable. And that's the thing, like, no one's going to talk about this, because if you say that, oh, you're a bigot, oh, you're racist, oh, you're misogynist, oh, you're toxic, oh, you're insecure, small dick energy, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, one of those. So
You should be progressive.
yeah, so I'm not surprised that Marvel would take that chance to be progressive and woke and try to use that, to push a virtue signaling agenda, which is ridiculous.
They're totally misjudging the population too.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, let's look at the logical fallacy. Actually, one of them is virtue signaling. Bandwagon. Appealing to popularity or the fact that many people do something as an attempted form of validation. And I would add to this that many people should do something. It's bandwagon. It's actually a logical fallacy.
Or like, this is what people want to hear because that's what you see in New York Times and mainstream
That's an appeal to authority. Saying that because an authority thinks something, it must therefore be true.
media, but it's not actually what people want to hear, obviously.
The
Right,
numbers
that's
don't
right.
lie. Look at
The
CNN right now.
numbers don't
Tanking,
lie.
baby.
Yup.
Tanking.
Yo, it's funny. A lot of these podcasts get more viewers than some of these big news
Yeah.
Yup, and there's a reason why, because they actually tell the truth. It's funny that, like, you want to hear the truth? Come to my show. Go to Fresh and Fit. Go to Kevin Samuels. We'll actually tell you the truth. But the sad part is this, that the modern narrative, which, like, journalism used to be about the truth, and now it's about, I don't even know what it is, pushing the agenda that makes the most money for corporations, I guess. It's just propaganda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Funny. We're
They're
taking
trying
over.
to go after Joe Rogan.
Exactly.
Right? And,
Oh,
and
hard.
they're
Did you
taking an
hear-
L.
I mean, you guys probably know about this, but the White House went after him.
Oh,
What?
yeah.
Oh, they did?
And
Oh.
then
It was the press secretary.
I know the medical
think?
people went at the
remember-
medical community went after him.
he was
Yeah.
sick, and they distorted the image to make him look even worse.
Oh, I
and
saw
said it
that
was
one
corona.
too.
It
Yeah.
was crazy. Like, what?
What?
Who does that? CNN? Fox?
Yeah.
Somebody station?
Independent media is winning. Shout out to Joe Rogan. Shout out to Timcast. We've been on Timcast a few times.
Yep.
I
And
liked him.
yeah, you've been on Timcast
Yeah.
as well. That was a great discussion, you guys. That's why I asked you about the meat stuff, because you talked about that.
Oh yeah. I liked
Um,
him. They're good.
So shout out to them as well.
By the way, notice how she said, I liked him, they're good. She's using her emotions to determine how things went. It's not about facts, data, statistics. It's not about how good the conversation is. It's about how she felt. Notice the difference between men and women. All right.
And independent media is going to take over very soon, because
That's
CNN
right.
is tanking. The people don't trust
Yes.
the popular media anymore, because
That's
they
right.
have a woke agenda to push, and this is what's going on. And I know on this podcast, guys, we don't typically
Grassroots media is going to take over, right? And then we'll come full circle, right? There'll be some private corporation that allows free speech, which will then take over whatever this, and then there'll be like a corporation that then promotes real news how it used to be, because people will actually watch it, right? So people will vote with their wallets. But again, only the Lord knows how long that will take. For now, we're in the Renaissance, right? In the grassroots podcast, actually telling the truth, whereas the media is lying. Basically, it's what is it? It's a lot like the Matrix, really, right? Where the Matrix pushes an agenda, but reality is actually underneath the surface, and you have to dig to actually find it. And if you don't dig, if you have no critical thinking in 2023, what happens to you is you get lied to, used, discarded, and destroyed ultimately, creating two classes, creating the sheep class and the actual class that knows what's going on, right? I mean, that's what I believe is going to happen anyway. Just organically, it's going to come out of this.
Talk politics, but I mean, at this point, you guys see what the hell's going on. You know, a lot of our guys here that watch us are a little bit higher IQ. You guys tend to be in the middle. You guys look at the facts. You don't subscribe to one party necessarily. You guys tend to be like, okay, well, this makes sense. It doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? And you are capable of independent thought, which is fantastic. And that's what I like about independent media. You know, they tend to be a little bit more capable of independent thought versus like being on CNN and being like, let's be super woke. Or then sometimes with Fox being super conservative.
Yeah.
And, you know, you got to be somewhere in the middle where you can independently make your own decisions. Take the facts, make your own decision. But some people just like to subscribe to a certain narrative just so that they can fit in some kind of box, which I think is very dangerous. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But yeah.
Well said.
Yeah. But yeah, they're trying to go after Rogan and they're taking L's, which is hilarious to me. Real quick, just another commenter. Mara, please use this to get yourself a McDonald's Justin Trudeau special, aka McChicken. Respect to Jordan Peterson. Respect to Mikhaila. Chat, you're crazy. Respect the guests. Hashtag merch gang. Okay, guys, tell beautiful Mikhaila that we love her. Okay, and that's from Jennifer Grover. Thank you so much, sir. Mr. Jason, what's going on? FNF, showing my support. Initials going to be over 9,000. Okay. I'm probably only going to get 5 hours of sleep today before I have to hit the late night shift, but it's well worth it for FNF. Thank you so much.
Shout out to you, brother.
And then Omar El Mufali, what is your take on Canada, on if Canada joins America as one country?
Ooh.
Oh yeah, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah, I don't think so.
No, that's not gonna
I
happen.
doubt this. But who knows?
Cal L, thank you for Mikhaila for being on the #1 podcast in the world. Thoughts on?
I mean, would France join England as one country? Or Germany join Spain? It's that principle, right? Would Australia join England as one country? You know, just willingly? Like, I don't think any country would join any other country just willy-nilly like this.
Jordan Peterson for Prime Minister.
Ooh.
You know what? He's actually considered it. But he can't speak French, and in Canada, in order to be the prime minister, you have to be able to speak French. Plus, he honestly, I was like, don't do it, right? Don't do it. I honestly think he might have more of a reach as Jordan Peterson, what he's doing, than as prime minister. I could be completely off by that, but I mean, I don't think anyone takes the prime minister of Canada seriously.
That's probably true, actually. It might be true that, arguably, a famous person, like let's say Freddie Mercury. Freddie Mercury has more reach as Freddie Mercury than he would as the president of the United States or whatever, the prime minister of Britain. I think that's actually true.
Regardless of who they are. Or like, it's Canada. Like, yeah.
In the US, yeah, but not really Canada, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, most Americans won't even know who the Prime Minister of Canada is, let's be honest.
I don't even know.
Yeah, see, you already know. So, no, you mentioned it earlier, bro. All right, I've been a long-time fan of you and your father, 10 Rules for Life, for life. Happy to see you on the podcast and see these intellectual worlds colliding. Yeah, absolutely, bro. Mikhaila, enjoy this warm-up round. You are about to meet your ratchet female opposites. Mark my word. I don't know. She does, guys, I don't think she has to leave. She's not going to be on that one. But Dick Maximus.
I can only imagine Mikhaila Peterson on the late night show. What a disaster that would be.
And that comes from Dick Maximus. Eric Brolin, this message is from Mikhaila Peterson. I just letting you know that you and your father have my adoration, and I know it must be.
Well, Mikhaila is using her father's reputation to advance her own agenda, which is smart, but she's not as virtuous as her father. Let's put it that way. Just watch my video if you don't believe me.
Rough on your family, point in case the Time Magazine phone interview.
Thank you. We're good now, though. We're tough.
fan. What happened
Jeff.
with that one Time magazine interview? If you want to elaborate.
That was the Sunday Times.
Oh, okay, it was that
Yeah,
one. Okay.
yeah.
So, just in your opinion, right? Because obviously you've been through a lot. We've been through a lot as well with the media and outlets. Would you say that bad publicity is good for your brand?
Yeah, I think it depends. Like, you guys have a large platform. Congrats on that too. It's
Thanks.
growing. Yeah, like mad.
Thank you.
But I think if you have a platform, then it's less anxiety provoking because you can say, oh, you can make fun of it and say, oh, they said that, but this is the truth. When you don't have a platform, it's pretty scary. Part of the reason I started a podcast was because there were articles coming out about me, especially in regards to diet, making me look like a total quack and a crazy person. And I was like, I don't have any way to fight back. So I think it's less stressful if you have some sort of platform. Yeah.
That's actually very interesting. When you have your own audience, your own following, you actually have a form of protection. I've never actually thought about it that way. But the principle is, you and what army? Very interesting.
Yeah.
And that's facts.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I
'Cause
mean,
they paint a narrative about you.
Yeah.
And you can't
Right.
respond to it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you have your own platform. Hey, this is the truth. This
That's
is what
true.
you're saying. Look at the truth from
Right.
your own
Yeah.
opinion.
Exactly.
As the audience.
and I mean, hey, I mean,
It's a beautiful thing. It's the principle is, once you actually have a big following, it's actually kind of like you have your own army. I have never thought about it that way, but that's actually quite an interesting point.
and this is why, I was looking forward to this interview so much because we've been through kind of the same crap that you've been through as far as like people hating on you and not knowing the full story, whatever it is. And like, we ended up doing a 5-hour pod one time where we debunked a bunch of slanderous claims that weren't true.
Yeah.
And, we obviously debunked every single one line by line. But, people are going to believe what they want to believe. You know what I'm saying? The people that are
Yeah.
objective, that want the truth,
Yeah.
they'll come and they'll find it and they'll be like, oh, okay. But then there's other people that are just going to hate you and they were always looking for a reason to hate you. And they're
Yeah.
going to hold on to that reason.
Yes.
And just because they don't like you.
No matter
you know
what.
I'm saying? So I think that's one thing that we had to learn because, we came into YouTube fairly recently. We've been
It's only been like a year or
a
so.
little over a year.
Wow.
So it's
Yeah,
like
crazy.
different because like I used to work in law enforcement before, which you do everything in your power to like not be out there. And then coming into the limelight, now you're out there completely. And it's like a little bit different to like get criticized by people you don't even know. And it had to take some acclimation. But, at this point now I'm used to it. But, I can only imagine at your guys' level because, we get some criticism, but you and your family, you guys really went through it, man. So
Shout
people
to Black
say
Twitter.
crazy shit. Yeah. Shout to hate on us.
Black Twitter.
Okay. What else do we got here? We got Dania. Thank you for coming on the show. I admire and respect both you and your father, and hoping to extend his show in London when he's here next. We're hoping
Sweet.
to
10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wayne, $50. Love for FNF fam. Picked a good night to return from hiatus.
Yeah, you did, my
Facts.
friend.
All right, let me skip this because it's stupid. All right.
There was a comparison there. And even if it was just on the thumbnail, I was like, okay, this needs to be addressed. It had quite a few views. You hooked me up with him,
Yeah.
which would thank you.
Yeah,
'Cause
no
the
worries.
conversation was really worth doing.
Yeah. I think it's important to, be able to connect people that might have opposing views and, be able to have a civil discussion on it,
Yeah. I mean, I think not being able to do that is breaking apart America at the moment.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
it was good. It was stressful. Like, it wasn't an enjoyable podcast. I thought maybe when we started that we could kind of get on the same level by the end, but I don't think we ended up getting on the same level. But we went through, I kind of broke down some of the, I guess not conspiracies, but just some of the lies that are out there about me.
Yeah.
Some that he had kind of probably helped promulgate a bit, broke that down for the first hour, and then let him talk about the book. We talked about his book and his work for the second hour.
Oh, she's talking about Rollo Tomasi here.
It got, I don't know, it's almost at 300,000 views.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was popular, and I don't know. It was interesting. It was very interesting. He's an interesting guy.
Amazing.
It was interesting.
Okay.
All right, no, I mean, hey, man, I'm like I said, we recently did something very similar. We went on, the Flagrant 2
Flagrant 2.
podcast. They had
Andy
very
Schultz.
different views than we did. And, sometimes, you got to, and I've said it so many times on the pod, you got to be comfortable being uncomfortable. And
Yeah.
sometimes
I was
talking to people that
definitely-
challenge your
yeah.
views makes you grow as a person, makes you see things you might have not seen before. And, I think it was a good discussion. I'm glad that I was able to hook y'all up. You guys were able to obviously create a video that got quite a bit of views. You guys were able to both, say your piece and talk to each other. And, I think that's what it's about, man. I think if people spoke more to each other that have opposing views versus just attacking each other without the other person there to defend themselves or be
Yeah.
able to, have these discussions, it would be a better place.
You
in
know what's the
general.
best part? The audience can see for the first time
Yeah.
two opposing sides, what
Yeah.
they believe, and then make a choice for themselves.
Damn.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? I agree with this part of what she says. I agree with this part of what he says. I can make a sound decision and say, you know what? I believe this. And that's important.
Yeah.
If you don't have two sides to the story.
Yeah, this is why free speech is important, right? because it allows for the audience to actually develop critical thinking, right? If there's only one narrative pushed, and if you don't say exactly what the narrative says that you should say, then you get fired, you lose your job, they take the bread out of your mouth, you get slandered, etc., then it's a disaster.
Story, one side. What's the point?
Yep, absolutely. And we obviously, you guys know we're good friends with Rollo Tomasi, but we like Mikhaila as well. So, hey, if we can hook y'all up, fantastic. You guys had a great conversation, got some
They're playing the middleman here, playing both sides.
views.
Yeah. It was worth doing. Yeah. It was worth it. It was, like I said, it was stressful.
Okay.
I was stressed. I think I was angry, actually. I'm not I'm not neurotic. I don't get freaked out easily. I'm pretty stable, but I was definitely, after I saw that video, I was definitely angry, which I don't normally get. But I don't know if I care very much. I'm glad we had the conversation. I'm glad he came on.
Yeah, we understand.
Speaking of which, so what are your views on the current, I guess, state of men and women right now when it comes to relationship, feminism, being progressive, etc.? The deterioration of the family unit. What are your overall thoughts on that?
I think, well, it's definitely happening. There's also an increase in mental illness overall, so I don't know how much of it.
What a surprise. You mean breaking up the family unit and traditional values causes mental health issues?
It has to do with that. I think part of it is, or maybe a majority of it is caused by the birth control pill. And I'm a big aspect of my podcast is health-based. And the birth control pill is really hard on women.
Yes.
It's really hard on women. It makes completely sane women go crazy. And people don't talk about it. It's side effect,
and they're already crazy a little bit anyway from the beginning.
Well, no, but
that explains
it. Yeah. So I think that's a huge problem. And then we have people who are really far left being like, oh, every male is prone to violence and don't associate with them, and they're just bad people, can't change, right? And that's the least of what people are saying, right?
Yeah.
They're just they're innately evil, or they're not innately evil and you can just train them out of it, and then you just pressure them into being feminine. It's completely screwed up. And then I think that there are people who are on the other side, men in particular on the other side, who are like, oh, all women are X, so all women are, women are a little bit more emotional than men, quite a bit more emotional than men. So I'll let them have that. But I think both sides contribute to the issue and are widening this gap so that men and women can't communicate. I would say the majority of the problem is on the left.
I actually disagree that men are contributing to the problem. But anyway, maybe men that are aligning themselves with the woke narrative in order to virtue signal to women that they're like them in order to get laid, maybe those men are contributing to the problem. But men that tell women things like be fit, feminine, friendly, cooperative, and bedroom fun, loyal, and don't have children before we're with you, that's not, those men are not preventing conversation. Those men are telling what they want in order to have a relationship. Okay, anyway, let's end the video there. Hit the like, hit the sub, hit all for notifications. Drop me a donation like Hunter M, Adrian R, Tom, and Bobby. Shout outs to him, most recent Patreon subscriber. Thank you. Go to my Patreon, subscribe at patreon.com/theheliosblog. Buy my books at bit.ly/heliosbooks. Shout outs to Curry Kid, most recent purchaser of Strategist Guide to Seduction. Thank you. Of course, share this video. If you want to support my podcast, just click the description link. When you're looking at the podcast itself, every podcast has a description box. You can click on that, and under support the show, there's a Buzzsprout link. All right, share this video. Thank you so much for listening, especially if you listen to the end. I really do appreciate it. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time.